All right, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Lieutenant Dennis Gutierrez with the Hays County Sheriff's Office. I'm the PIO. I'm just going to be talking about a little bit about how we're going to handle the press conference here. We're going to have some speeches made by the three gentlemen behind me. If you guys can reserve your questions to the end, and then please just raise your hand. They'll call you out. We'll take a couple of questions at the end. So we'll start the press conference right now.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. My name is Gary Cutler, G-A-R-Y-C-U-T-L-E-R, the Sheriff of Hays County, Texas. Early morning hours of April 11th of this year, EMS and the Hays County Sheriff's Department deputies responded to a residence on Cotton Gin Road out east of Kyle on a person down. They got out there and they found an unconscious, unresponsive 15-year-old male. Attempts were made to revive him but were unsuccessful and he was pronounced deceased. An investigation ensued. As a result of that investigation, an arrest was made on an individual for delivery of marijuana who we felt was responsible for delivering some marijuana to this individual that passed. Okay, he was booked into jail. His name is Jaquan Ray. Okay. Investigation continued. Our Special Services Division and our detectives did a fantastic job of working with DEA and other agencies and with our District Attorney's Office, and got some results from the autopsy performed on the young man out of Travis County, and fentanyl is going to be the cause of death of this individual. As a result of that, we're working once again with our District Attorney's Office and other partners, and a charge for murder was filed Monday of this week. He's already in custody, so that charge has been, warrant has been executed, and his bond is set at $100,000. Concerning that particular charge, I want to turn it over to our District Attorney and let him explain that to you.
Hello, my name's Kelly Higgins, K-E-L-L-Y-H-I-G-G-I-N-S. I'm the District Attorney of Hays County. And this is the first time I've ever done a press conference, and so I hope you'll allow me to refer to my notes. Hays County has seen too many young people, some children as young as 15 years of age, die in the throes of fentanyl overdose. In 2022, 40% of the overdoses in Hays County involved children under the age of 18. People are deliberately supplying our children with this drug, and we face a public health crisis. We in the District Attorney's Office are working with our law enforcement partners, as well as reaching out to surrounding counties in order to build a regional response to this public health crisis. As to this case, I and my prosecutors have been briefed on the facts, and the evidence does support the filing of a felony murder charge. Felony murder under the Texas Penal Code results when a person commits or attempts to commit a felony, and in the course of commission or in furtherance of the commission of that crime, commits an act clearly dangerous to human life which results in the death of an individual. So let me break that down. Selling narcotics is a felony. And selling the narcotic fentanyl is an act clearly dangerous to human life. That is manifest in the statistic I gave you up top, that we face a public health crisis, and specifically a crisis of youth overdoses. So, if you were to sell fentanyl to someone and that someone dies, you can face a charge of felony murder under Texas law. This is the message and the reason I'm here before you today. I pray it's understood. I want the people who sell it to know. I want anyone considering selling it to know. You can face a charge of felony murder. It is a first-degree felony, punishable by 5 to 99 years or life in a Texas prison. To sell fentanyl is to risk a life sentence. This is the message. We will present this case to the grand jury as charged and will prosecute with all the gravity demanded of a society that loves its children. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tyson Hodges, T-Y-S-O-N-H-O-D-G-E-S, and I'm the Assistant Special Agent in Charge
of the Drug Enforcement Administration in Austin, Texas. Americans are dying in record numbers as a result of this poison that's being pushed out by the drug cartels, that poison being fentanyl. This year, the Houston Field Division, which includes Austin, has seized over 674,000 fake fentanyl pills and 230 pounds of powdered fentanyl. This equates to roughly 7 million potentially lethal doses of fentanyl. Combine fentanyl with other drugs like xylazine, and you've turned an already terrible situation into a crisis. As Mr. Higgins alluded to just a moment ago, to combat this crisis, the DEA has partnered with the Hays County Sheriff's Office and other law enforcement agencies around the area to create an overdose investigation team. There's two purposes for this investigation team. First is to identify and arrest those individuals selling fentanyl and other dangerous drugs to kids in particular. Secondly, we hope to bring justice to some part to the families and loved ones who have lost people to fentanyl overdose. To get the word out about the dangers of fentanyl, we've increased our outreach efforts and educational programs. We're conducting these forums in schools and community outreach programs throughout the state. Law enforcement cannot fight this fight alone. We need parents and community help. To the parents, cartels are targeting your children through social media, which has become the superhighway to the drug trade. Drug dealers are using emojis and other items to sell drugs online. Please discuss and engage with your kids about the dangers of fentanyl and other drugs. Monitor their social media accounts. Make sure you stay active in their lives. Anyone that's active on social media is actually a target. To those buying the pills on the internet, stop gambling with your life. There's no legitimate prescription pill that can be purchased through social media. We know from our DEA labs that 6 out of every 10 fentanyl pills that we seize contain a lethal dose of fentanyl. To those individuals that are selling fentanyl or other fake pills, be prepared. As Mr. Higgins said, you will be the target of this investigation, and we will come after you. The last thing I'd like to say is to everybody out there, remember, if you're not getting your medication from your doctor or pharmacy, it's not legitimate. It's unsafe, and it could be deadly. Thank you.
This time we'll take a few questions with DA or DEA. I provided some statistics to y'all. If y'all take a look at those, that's pretty current for the last year and a half up until a few days ago. So a few questions, y'all go ahead.
Hello, Jayla Washington here with KXAN. Thanks for having us. So the overdose investigation team, is this something new? And as far as you guys trying to work with like law enforcement regional partners, can you guys talk a little bit about what developing that looks like as well?
Well, yes, there's been a task force formed by DEA here a while back. We all continue to work together. To answer your question about the investigations, if there's an overdose and we can find out, we want to go kind of backwards to find out how this individual or where he got these drugs. And then we go from there. So the investigation continues, like I mentioned. When this individual was found deceased, went back to find out where he got the drugs and worked from there. So yes, when we receive information about overdoses, whether fatal or not, we start an investigation and all agencies get involved in these.
As far as like having the overdose investigation team though, is that a new effort or is this something that you guys have already been doing?
Sure. The overdose investigation team, it's actually an extension of what we've already been doing. So instead of having it in-house, we've actually expanded it out to our state and local law enforcement partners. And at this point, we have representatives from, of course, the Sheriff's Office here in Hays County, Travis County, Williamson County. We have state representation from Texas DPS. We also have federal representation from DEA, the FBI, ATF, and Homeland Security.
Is this the first murder charge filed in a fentanyl case? Because I see see 14 arrests on here. Have any of these other cases also resulted in murder charges?
I can speak to that a little bit. This is not the first felony murder charge filed in Texas for supplying fentanyl that led to an overdose. It is the first in this county. So we are not innovating here. We are not breaking new ground, but we are, with all intrepidity, walking down this path because I believe, felony murder is, for all intents and purposes, murder made under a different set of elements. And we're going to follow this path where the facts permit us to do that. All of these cases are being reviewed individually, and I will just note, there is another first-degree felony charge that could lie in a case like this, which is delivery of a controlled substance to a minor resulting in death. That, too, is a first-degree felony with the same penalty range, 5 to 99 or life. For me, it's very important to equate this conduct with murder, and so we are not precluded from pursuing a felony murder charge where the facts support that.
Kind of following up to that, I think it might be the same case you're talking about. There was a case involving a person that Mr. Sanchez was related to a fentanyl arrest. Could they face murder charges as well?
I'm not familiar with the facts of that case this time. But I'll tell you this. Where we can make that connection and where we believe we can make it beyond a reasonable doubt, we're going to pursue felony murder charges in cases like this.
Are you guys aware that CISD came out today and ruled its 6th accidental overdose on fentanyl today?
We had heard earlier today.
I guess, do you feel like there is a problem specifically in Hays County? Obviously, this is happening all across the country, but Hays CISD specifically feels like it's been hit especially hard.
It's not just Hays CISD. Go back and look at the New Yorker from a couple of weeks ago. They did a full court press, a long piece on Hays County, Texas, and the youth fentanyl overdoses we've had. Yes.
County, I should say, sorry, not
Yes.
just Hays.
In this county, I think we do have a dramatic problem that may stand out above other counties in Texas. And I think just the existence of that New Yorker article really reflects that. I mean, that is a national periodical. Mentions Hays County numerous times. I mean, the focus of it is on our fentanyl problem. So yeah, I won't say we're unique, but I will say we are especially beset by this threat, and we are working together as hard as we can to address it and remedy it.
Why do you think that is? I mean, why is Hays County facing this threat more so than other places?
I will defer to Agent Hodges with that question. He has a much broader and national and international view of the fentanyl trade and trafficking. Sure. You take that one?
Yeah. So you have to remember that the fentanyl trade, this is a business for the drug cartels. And just like any business, they're going to have marketing, they're going to have sales, they're going to have transportation, distribution routes. It's the full gamut. The drug trade in this particular instance, it's nothing new. It's just an extension of what's already been out there. It just happens to be fentanyl at this time. So in this particular case, the way they're targeting children is they're using social media. So every kid out there that has a cell phone, you instantaneously have access to drugs online. It's unfortunate, but that's just the facts. Through emojis and other applications and websites, these kids can get in and get access to this stuff almost instantaneously. They're also using marketing tools like you've seen the colored fentanyl. They're using colored fentanyl and other techniques like that to try and appeal to children.
I'd say one thing along the line of what these gentlemen are saying. Not only are we doing the investigation when we get involved in an overdose case, but we've done over 70 presentations for the last several months, like I think some were done today, I know yesterday, all over this area, and even outside the state of Texas. We're being approached by people to come do fentanyl presentations. We're trying to educate everybody and anybody that'll just give us 30 minutes to listen to us. schools, hundreds of students we've talked to do our part other than the investigations. To, like they said, we've got to let the parents know, keep an eye on their social media, keep an eye on, go in your kid's bedroom. If you see a pill or something laying around, what's it doing there? So we ask people, we urge people to do that, but we've probably got presentations, some more to do this week. We're going to do our part in law enforcement to educate as many people as they'll listen to us.
Sheriff, if you can kind of just reiterate again just how you were able to arrest Mr. Ray, what he did that led up to the arrest and kind of the transactions and stuff like that.
The Special Services Unit and detectives were able to talk to some of the deceased associates and find out, get some names and information, just doing a follow-up investigation once this incident happened. It led them to an individual, and that's how it started with him and involved in delivery, and then as delivery of marijuana at that time, and he was arrested. Later on, as we did follow up through the investigation with the medical examiner's office, getting results of toxicology of the autopsy, realized that fentanyl was going to be the key to his death. Then we carried it to the murder level and got with the DA's office on that. So it's just to interview basic investigation of how this individual purchased this drug.
Do you know if it was a pill that
Pills, what they're doing is they're the pills, yes. Now we're hearing stories, and you might relate about maybe some laced marijuana, but that's not the case here. We're talking pills. That's what the item is in Hays County right now is these pills, and they're coming in all different colors, all different color pills.
Is there a possibility that more charges could be brought against other individuals for this specific case?
I don't know necessarily on this specific case, but I think our district attorney has explained where we're headed as we work and investigate additional overdose cases.
And Sheriff, if I can speak to that
Please.
momentarily. There are other cases where we have laid charges against someone for supplying. Those cases were thoroughly reviewed by our office, and we did not feel that they met the evidentiary standards required to pursue a felony murder charge. What I can say is in the future and on a case-by-case basis, we're evaluating these cases based on the merits, the facts of the case. Where we see it, we want to charge it. I'm not big on sending a message. I don't really believe that too much. But here, with this crisis and with this particular threat, I think a message can be very effective. And the message I want to send is, if you sell fentanyl in Hays County and someone dies as a result, you're very likely to face a charge of felony murder. It will at least be reviewed for that. And we will lay the highest charge we can lay while still meeting our ethical standards as lawyers.
District Attorney, on that subject, state lawmakers right now are trying to pass House Bill 6, which would expand the conduct that constitutes murder to include knowingly deliver fentanyl that results in someone's death. I guess, what do you think about that? And then, as you kind of said it, can you explain how you're able to charge this suspect with murder under the current law?
Well, I explained the current law earlier. I won't reiterate that right now. But what I'll tell you is that's a reflection that legislators in Austin are aware and sensitive to this crisis. It is somewhat a surprise to me that we haven't seen more felony murder charges laid around the state where we see these fact patterns. I'm very hopeful that if that new law is passed, that we will see DAs around the state using that statute. And frankly, if it makes it easier for us to bring those charges and prove those charges, we'll rely on that statute too. But for now, we're confident that the felony murder charge in the Texas Penal Code satisfies for this fact pattern. I believe that DAs around the state should be at least strongly considering laying it where they have the factual basis.
Take one more question.
Are there any specific apps that parents can look for in iPhones, kids' iPhones?
I'll defer to law enforcement on that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what apps it would be. I'm sure there's so many apps out there now. They got different ones coming out regularly. So I don't know what particular apps. I don't know.
One that I'm familiar with is Telegram.
Yeah. But like I said, we really got to go to our public and our parents and all to help us out with this. Please, you go in, I emphasized it a while ago, when you go in your kid's room, you see stuff in there, you're going to have to start asking questions. That room, and you're paying for that house, and they live in that room, and there's a pill laying out there. You know, we don't want them to be the next one. We've had way too many overdoses, way too much Narcan's being used to save these people, and that will continue. But we got to plead with the public to work with us.
All right. That concludes our press conference. If you all did not receive a direct email from our agency for about press conferences or any media, we had a sign-up sheet. Let them know that, hey, to get added to our distribution list. And so, again, thank you all very much for showing up. And, you know, we're hoping we get the message out that this crisis is, you know, we got to figure out how to get it taken care of. I mean, it's going to be a long haul. So thank you all very much for being here, and have a great afternoon.
Kelly had some. Would he take them? Bottom of Kelly.
I think that's on there. Oh, here she is.